Okay, so we're diving into some pretty fascinating stuff today. You've been checking out all the stuff on depression and mental well-being, and uh,
Yeah.
it seems like you're really digging deeper than just the surface level stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you've got articles here, you've got app info, you've been really going for it.
It's so important to go beyond just knowing like the definition of depression, right? You want to know how to actually make a difference in your life.
Exactly, and that's what this whole deep dive is about. No more feeling stuck. We're gonna unpack all of this
Yeah.
and give you some real tools to work with.
Absolutely. And you know what's key? Understanding that depression, it isn't just like feeling down. It's a real health issue. It's like you wouldn't ignore a warning light flashing on your car's dashboard, would you?
It really makes you think, right? Like we're so quick to pay attention to our physical health,
Right.
but taking care of our mental well-being,
Yeah.
it's just as important.
Absolutely. And just like, taking care of your car mental health isn't a one-time thing.
Right.
You don't just like fix it and you're done.
Yeah.
It's all about building healthy habits for the long run.
So more like a lifetime tune-up than a quick fix, huh?
Exactly.
And one of the things that I keep seeing in these sources is this idea of a depression journal.
hmm
Is that just like a fancy term for a regular journal?
That's a great question. And while any kind of journaling can be beneficial,
Sure.
a depression journal is a little more focused. It's like, imagine it's like a detective's notebook,
Okay.
but for your emotions, right? You're tracking your moods, trying to notice what triggers those ups and downs.
You can even track how treatments are working. You're basically looking for patterns, those little clues that help you understand what's going on
Wow.
beneath the surface.
Okay, a detective's notebook for my emotions. I'm into it. But I gotta be honest, when I hear journaling, I'm picturing like, you know, curled up with a fancy notebook and a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Is that really what we're talking about here?
It can be.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be. But it can also be as simple as jotting down a few thoughts on your phone.
Well,
The important thing is to find what works for you.
so no judgment if my handwriting looks like a 5-year-old.
Not
No.
whatsoever. This is for you, not for,
No.
you know, a calligraphy contest.
True, true.
And speaking of finding what works, one of the sources you've been looking at talks about this app, Care Clinic.
And it's designed specifically for this kind of tracking. You can track your mood, your sleep, medications. It even generates reports
Wow.
that you can share with your doctor or therapist.
So we're talking like high-tech mood tracking here.
Exactly.
What's really interesting to me, though, is that this isn't just about feeling better, right? It's about actual changes in the brain.
Right.
The articles mention that journaling can actually impact how we process emotions. Is that legit?
It's totally legit. And what's really cool is the science behind it. So every time you journal, you're basically like rewiring your brain.
Wow.
You're creating these mental shortcuts for processing emotions. It's called neuroplasticity, basically. Your brain is constantly adapting.
Hold on, neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of intimidating.
It's not as complicated as it sounds. Think of it like this. Imagine you're learning a new language.
Okay.
The more you practice, the easier it becomes to speak and understand, right?
Right.
Well, journaling is like practicing the language of your emotions.
I like that.
By writing those emotions down consistently, you're strengthening those neural pathways. And that makes it easier to deal with tough emotions over time.
So it's like building mental muscle, basically.
Yeah,
The more we use them, the stronger those emotional processing muscles get.
exactly.
I like it. But one thing in the articles kind of threw me off. They were talking about handwriting versus typing.
Yeah.
Is that really a thing? Or is that just it's some people's preference? Okay, so we're rewiring our brains, building mental muscle. This is way more intense than I thought we were getting with journaling.
Yeah.
But I'm still stuck on this handwriting thing. Is it really that different from just typing it out?
It might seem kind of old-fashioned,
Yeah.
but it really can make a difference. When you write by hand, you're actually using different parts of your brain than when you're typing.
Hmm.
It's like taking the scenic route instead of just hopping on the freeway. You're engaging more with the experience.
Okay.
Handwriting activates those areas of the brain that are involved with memory and deeper processing.
Oh, interesting.
So it's almost like hitting the save button more effectively.
So it's not just about remembering what I wrote. It's about actually processing it on a deeper level.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that would be really helpful,
Mhm.
especially when we're trying to unpack all these complicated emotions. But let's get practical for a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've talked about how journaling can be really powerful, but how does this actually help someone cope with depression in everyday life?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
So think about it this way. Your mind, it's like a house, right? And sometimes with depression, it can feel like the lights are always kind of dim. Journaling, it's like installing a whole new lighting system.
Okay.
You can suddenly see things much more clearly. You start to notice those patterns,
Hmm?
those triggers that might be contributing to those like dimmer moments.
Oh, I see.
It's about recognizing those little shifts in your mental state. And then, importantly, having a plan for what to do about them.
So it's like having an internal alarm system, like, uh-oh, things are starting to feel a bit off.
You got it.
Okay.
You're creating this space for self-awareness, and that's so powerful because then it allows you to actually make different choices.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
And that's where therapy comes in, right?
exactly.
Like imagine bringing all those journal entries to your therapist.
It's like having a map to navigate your own inner world.
That's a great way to put it. And one of the articles talked about how journaling can actually make therapies like CBT even more effective.
Oh, absolutely. CBT is all about like identifying and changing those negative thought patterns.
Right.
And journaling gives you the raw data for those conversations. It makes the therapy way more targeted.
So it's not just talking about your feelings in a general sense. It's like,
Right.
here's what's actually happening in my head.
Exactly. And this is where I think those digital tools like the Care Clinic app can be so helpful.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it's not just about having a digital journal. It's like having a personal assistant for your mental well-being.
Right. You've got all those insights, all those
Yeah.
data points right there at your fingertips.
Exactly. Your mood, your sleep, medications, it's all tracked.
And then those reports that can generate those could be really helpful for your doctor or therapist too, right?
Absolutely. It helps you have much more informed conversations about your treatment plan.
So it's like a team effort.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. So as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I think the main takeaway here is that depression journaling is about way more than just venting.
Yeah.
It's a powerful tool to help you really understand and manage your mental health.
100%.
And with these cool tools like Care Clinic, you can use technology to make it even more impactful.
Totally. It's about taking control of your well-being, one journal entry at a time.
I love that. Knowledge is power, right? And when it comes to our mental health, that knowledge, that self-awareness, it could be seriously life-changing.
I completely agree.
So for everyone listening, as you keep exploring all this awesome stuff, here's a little something to think about. If you could track one thing in your life to get a better handle on your mental health, what would it be? Something to chew on, right? Until next time, keep on learning, and remember, you are not alone in this journey.